everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to Bull City Hangout 7, what is the date? 17. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, which you can read at durhamskywriter.com. And let me grab my iPad with Bull City Hangout. Basically, I tell you what's happening today in Durham, and I invite you to join me on camera and just shoot the breeze, share information, etc. So it's a weekday, so we're going to start with the school tools page, lots to talk about. First off, it's lunchtime, and so if you are in need and having trouble keeping the groceries in the house, oh, Beverly's here. Okay, let me make these few announcements. Very happy to see Beverly Mahone here. So just real quick, so young people ages 18 and under can get free bagged lunches. You just go to the schools that I will list here, go to your closest school, and adults can get free, non-perishable food supplies. So you have until 12:30 to get to Bethesda, Eno Valley, Githens, R.N. Harris, Hillside High, Parkwood, or Sandy Ridge. Then you have until 1:30 to get to Burton, Lakeview, Shepherd, Southern High, or Southwest. And of course, the addresses are listed on the school tools page. Now, with today being Friday, extra schools jump in to help. So you have until 12:30 to get to Brogden, Eastway, Glen, Holt, Y.E. Smith, or C.C. Spalding. And then you have until 1:30 to get to Club Boulevard, Hillendale, Holton, Kip, Maureen Joy, or Lakewood. There you go. Also, I've been talking about the partnership of Chicken Hut and Healthy Start Academy, where, of course, you go in a Chicken Hut, get some delicious fish or whatever. But if you are in need, you can stop by, don't have to make a purchase. People from Healthy Start Academy are right there in the lobby giving away boxed lunches for kids in need. While supplies last, and so Jeff says like between like 1:30-ish and 2-ish. So you can head out now, but just make sure that you do that, feed your kids. All right, let's see, what else is on the school tools page? Oh, yes. There's much ado about whether the schools are going to open in person, online, whatever. It was just announced that the first 9 weeks of the school session for Durham Public Schools, at least, I think this is actually going to happen. So first 9 weeks will be at-home learning, remote learning. Durham Public Schools has purchased Chromebooks for each student that needs one, or who needs one rather. So there you go. Also sign up, be sure to learn about the Ignite Online Academy information sessions. If you're a parent, you might already know this, that the high school students will be staying at home for remote learning, and the elementary and middle schools will be running at 50% attendance capacity, which means they'll be using the high schools for some of the capacity for the elementary and middle schools. So if you are a parent and you want your child just to stay home, K through 8 that is, then they can join the Ignite Online Academy. The information sessions will be held on Monday. There was one general purpose one last week, but they will go into the specifics just a bit on Monday. You have until Wednesday to sign up, but everything is on the school tools page. I know I said all this really fast. Why is somebody calling me now? I have to decline. Sorry. I spent my show. So at 6 o'clock on Monday, you can, the parents of kids, kindergarten to second grade, can go online and get like an idea of how it works and learn about Canva. Not Canva, that's a different program. Canvas. So again, go to the school tools page and read all about this. Grades 3 to 5. You can, the parents can meet at 6:45, and the grades 6 to 8, 7:30 is the time to go. So, like I said, please read about it. It's confusing, but they're doing the best they can. The kids need to get their education somehow, some way, and yeah. So let your say be known as well. They're not just doing this just pie in the sky. They want to hear from parents as well, and grandparents and guardians. Let's go to the word page. Just to let you know, the Animal Protection Society of Durham, they're on Club Boulevard, way east on Club, and they have free dog and cat food and some kitty litter. You can sign up online to get yours, and you have to pick it up, of course. Also, if you're able to help, they accept donations to help with the pet pantry, which is what I just described. Also, adoption assistance, spay neuter service, heartworm treatment, and Tiffany life-saving medical treatment that gives dogs and cats that with medical issues a second chance on life. So read all about that on the Word page of the Durham Skywriter. Word is the nonprofit and governmental information page. Okay, very quickly, I'm just going to run through this real quick. I've been talking about this bus shed project, City of Durham's cultural and public art program. They're hiring artists to design and decorate new bus shelters that will be built. It's a huge project, and the deadline to get everything in is Monday. I've been talking about it, so you might want to scramble this weekend, finalize your design and your application, and get your references together and get them in by Monday, right before midnight. Okay, also, I'm just going to mention very quickly the Water Hardship Fund. City of Durham wants to help. They don't want you to have your water cut off, so you can get like up to $240 toward your account. Hopefully that should catch you up. So read about that on the Word page and what you have to do for that. Also, learn about what DSS has up their sleeve. Durham County Department of Social Services. They are able to help people whose jobs have been affected adversely by COVID-19. They can help you with your rent and or your mortgage payments. So read about that, see if you qualify, and get the help that you need. Don't be prideful, get that help. If you need the help, get the help. Also, very quickly, the Durham County Library is not open, but you can order books and materials, which means DVDs and CDs, for pickup only. So the hours are very restricted, and they also have pickup hours on Saturdays. So read about that on the Word page. If you've been dying to read some new books, or if your kids are getting tired of the same old movies, just go online. And if you don't have a card, library card, you can get a temporary one online. They've thought of everything. That's how they do. Okay, very quickly, New Visions of Africa restaurant right next door to WB Hill. They have, on the weekdays, they give away meals from 3 until 6. So if you're hungry, you're in need, go to New Visions of Africa restaurant. Be sure to wear a mask. They only serve people who are wearing masks. Okay, let us go to the health page. There's only one announcement on the health page. I do invite you, of course, there's lots to read, but of course, I'm not going to read the whole newspaper to you. But I just wanted to mention real quick that there is something called the Black Health Matters Virtual Summit. That's going to be an all-day thing tomorrow from 8:30 until 6. It's free, it's online, so go check it out and sign up for it. I'll just list some of the things they'll be talking about. They're going to have like panel discussions, presentations, all kinds of great stuff. So they'll be talking about fitness, wellness, breast cancer, clinical trials, diabetes, fibroid tumors, mental health, HIV/AIDS, heart disease, prostate health, maternal fetal death, public policy, and more. So, and this information can be used by people who aren't Black as well, but they just want to make sure, because very, very often Black folks don't have the best access to health care, and sometimes the motivation, I'm just saying. So I think everybody should check this out. This is great information. They're not going to be able to peer through their lenses and see who's watching. So I think everybody should avail themselves to this information. Also, Sport and Life. Let's go to the sports page. Durham Parks and Recreation has just announced their summer camp, 3 weeks worth. So starting Monday, we're going to have 3 weeks of camp. Each child will only be able to attend for 1 week because they're going to limit it to 9 kids per, let's see, they're dividing it by age. I think it's, let's see, 6 to 12, 13 to 17. So it's a lot to it. So go to the Sport and Life page and read about it. It's not free, but read about it. Get your kids into summer camp. They're itching to play and have fun. Also, that reminds me, the cover story of the Durham Skywriter, I do this every summer. old school street games that used to play on the streets, the south side of Chicago in the 1960s. Super fun games. I'll leave it to the parents whether to decide whether their children should go out and play. But for those who do want to play outside or even inside, check out those games. They're super fun, I guarantee. Very quickly, Sport and Life. Oh, that was Sport and Life. Oh, I wanted to mention Bull City Futsal Academy starts tomorrow. It's a 5-week series of like skill building for futsal, which is like a super fast version of soccer, 5 per side. So they have an elementary, middle school camp and then a high school camp. Again, this is for young people who want to play futsal, who want to learn how to play it. Super fun, and it's free. So be sure, I hope it's not too late to sign up, because this is a great opportunity. So check that out. And hats off to Mr. Jose Santibáñez. He is in charge. And yeah, I was hoping that he would join us one day, and I hope he does still. Let's go to the Let's Go page. There's only one event happening today, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the Village of Wisdom. They're having the Black Genius Trivia Night. That is this evening from 9 until 10:30 on Crowd Curve. I guess that's a new platform, or a platform I've never heard of. So the first, second, and third place winners will get gift cards to Black-owned businesses that do business online. If that isn't clever, I don't know what is. So be sure to check that out. Go to the Let's Go calendar events page for information on that. I'm just going to list what's going to happen tomorrow morning. I won't give you the details, but you do know about the Durham Farmers Market, 8 until noon, Durham Central Park, Durham Craft Market, same time, same place. South Durham Farmers Market, same time, south on Highway 55. Roots Farmers Market, online only. Pick up at tomorrow, pick up your order, 10 o'clock, from 10 to 11 at Mount Bethel Presbyterian Church. And I think that's it. The weather report. It is 86, partly cloudy, going up to 89. We might have thunderstorms starting around 3-ish. And then tomorrow, thunderstorms, maybe, and up to 94 degrees. Beverly Mahone is here. Let us welcome. Hey, Curtis Brooks is here. Hey, Curtis, you can drop in as well. So let's see what's going on with Beverly. Beverly.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to pop in. I had some questions about some of the activities that you mentioned, and I wanted to get some clarification if I can.
Okay,
You
sure,
mentioned
sure.
the Sporting Life page. Is that a part of the Durham Skywriter?
Right. The way the Durham Skywriter is set up, it's by topic. So when you go to the general purpose page, let me see if I can find it real quick. You have your choice. So click to read the latest issue, and then there's different pages. So there's the word page.
Gotcha.
Oh, wait. Let me go to single.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Boom. Yeah. So there's a glare there. The neighbor goodies page, the word page. There's a page for sports, and yeah. Zoom, school tools, the health page. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go, so it's set up by pages as opposed to like regular type newspaper like the Herald Sun, where it's story after story from page to page. Yeah. So it's by topic with the Skywriter.
Perfect. Okay, good. Because you mentioned a couple of things in there that I'm certainly interested in for my grandson. So I'll definitely have to check it out.
Awesome. I didn't know you were a grandma.
Yeah. Yes,
awesome.
He'll be 14 in a couple of months. So yeah, I've been a grandma for a minute.
Ooh. Okay.
I love this.
I love this
concept.
That's wonderful.
This is a great concept. I like it a lot. I didn't know because normally at noon I am probably either really into I blog a lot. So I'm either blogging or watching ESPN sports or doing something that, advances me to the next day. Yeah. So
Tell us about your blog, because doesn't it involve baby boomers?
Yes, it does. Actually, I have 4 blogs. And they are, one of them is called Boomer World. So you just go to boomerworld.blogspot.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I do talk about baby boomer issues that are pretty much broad-based. I do, when I can find some really good topics that just zero in on African Americans, and I do that. But, a lot of the topics are general. Then I have the Baby Boomer Bev, where I just kind of ramble about whatever's going on.
Okay.
So lately I've been rambling.
Is Baby Boomer what?
Bev.
Oh, rant. Oh, okay. Oh.
Baby Boomer Bev. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need. Oh, Bev. Okay, I need to check that out. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm on Blogger, so everything is .blogspot.com.
Okay.
And, yeah. And it's interesting because I just posted a blog yesterday about being classified as a Black author. Why can't I just be an author? Because I'm an author who just happens to be Black.
Because maybe the words you use are Black.
No,
it is kind of stupid. Yeah. I remember the early days of, not early, but some years ago with the Grammys, there was gospel and then Black gospel.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of weird.
So that generated quite a bit of discussion on Twitter. And I don't know if you know who Kathy Ireland is. The
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she really spoke up and came to my defense, and and said that she thought, she told people in her circle, I guess, that that was wrong to do, that we are authors and we should just be appreciated for the art that we write. Exactly. And I thought that was really cool, because a lot of people were like, well, why are you always focusing on race? And my thing was, I'm focusing on race because you all make me me deal with race. So she jumped into the conversation and just kind of came up and stood up for me. So it was pretty cool.
That's interesting. It's almost a way of saying you don't have to check her out. To folks who don't really care about. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like white folks or whoever are encouraged, and people don't mind. You don't see people saying so-and-so is a Black basketball player. They allow their kids to have Black basketball heroes, right? And they don't say that, oh, this is a Black basketball player. So, exactly. So they probably shouldn't do that with authors.
Exactly. Well, it's funny because when I was working at ABC 11, when I wrote my first book, I was talking to some of my colleagues in the newsroom, some of the white women, because it was a woman's book. And and I was debating whether I should put my picture on the cover. That's how this whole conversation came. Oh, okay. And the white ladies were saying, oh, no, I don't think you should do that, because then the white women won't buy it because they'll think it's for Black women only. And at the time, that really did make sense to me. So I chose not to put my picture on the cover. And the book did go on to be an Amazon bestseller. Okay. And I wondered if I had put my picture on the book, what would have been the outcome? But then
that would be a good guess.
In 2017, I did put my picture on the cover, and it did become a bestseller. But then the logic was there. Well, they knew you by then.
Okay.
So I don't know. I
don't want to be. Is there any way you can get better lighting? Like I'm in front of a window and an open door right now.
I'm in my home office.
Okay.
So that's probably why. If
you have a table
dim, I would have moved the computer, but I thought I would just be listening today. So.
Oh, okay. If you have a table lamp, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, not in here. Just the light above. Okay. And it's kind of dim, so.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's okay. I like for my guests to be in their best light.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, honey. It is what it is. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Just looking out for you.
I hear you.
Oh, tell us about, Eileen. She says it's about time you two got to get. I didn't know Eileen knew you.
Who?
Eileen Smith. She's on YouTube and right now. And actually, oh my God, she says Bev is awesome. Well, shut your mouth.
Oh, Eileen, I didn't know. You know Eileen? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh my! It is a small world.
She is. We call her the Twitch. She's the queen of that platform, Twitch, and she's a wonderful, hot, super podcast.
Media, period. She knows all things about all platforms. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's true. Actually, that's true.
Yeah, she is just a genius. I've gotten so many tips from her.
Me
when
too.
I was first starting. What platform was it? I know she helped me with YouTube, but there was another platform. Was it Periscope? Because I had never done Periscope.
She is super into Anchor.
And Anchor. I did a little Anchor too. So, I mean, she's just a wealth of information. And she is my go-to when I need to understand, how to navigate the technology. She does it.
Absolutely. And actually, I don't know if you've done it yet, Eileen, but I know she just got access to Amazon live streaming, where Amazon influencers are able to live stream and actually talk about and probably demonstrate or show the products that they're selling. And I know that Eileen is selling certain products on Amazon, and that's gonna blow up. Can you imagine?
No, I did not know that. That is perfect. I need to get with her on that and find out more.
I wonder if that includes, doesn't Amazon have like authors?
Yes. They have the create space. That's a part of their big umbrella.
Now, I don't know if that's going to include create space, but if it does, I expect to see you.
Well, you know what? I have my own publisher. Oh. So Create Space is more like self-publishing. They will actually create the book for you, and then they'll sell it on Amazon. The way that my publisher works is that she does it, and then she uploads it to Amazon. So she's just like the middle person. But if they give me an opportunity, I would certainly take advantage of it.
Okay. And Eileen says that she thinks she introduced. I think I already knew you because I didn't know you from Channel 11 because I really don't have regular TV. But I think I knew you. You were all actually. I first met you. You didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who you were. Not long after I moved here, I went to a writer's workshop that you led. I mean, I think I had just started the Skywriter, so that was like almost 20 years ago. You had some kind of a writing workshop that I attended.
I did. Mm-hmm. I did have I've had several.
So that was way before Blab, way before, and I kept my eye on you, not really closely. I do know you were associated with WNCU Radio, which is where I started here in Durham.
That's right.
I think you were there maybe right before I joined, but I know you were affiliated with them somehow.
Right. I was with I headed up their news and public affairs.
Oh yeah, well that's definitely definitely before my time. But I knew you were there.
Okay, wow, yeah, it is. And I do remember you because I think that, if I'm not mistaken, either I interviewed you for my radio program or promoted you in some way, because I'm just...
You might have, because when I first joined WNCU, I actually did a show called Rice and Beans, which is a Latin jazz, Brazilian jazz radio show. Okay. And then when I started the Durham Skywriter, which was in print then I jumped over to public affairs and did a radio Skywriter.
Okay, maybe. Well, I don't know if you were there when I was there. I was there from 97 to 2000.
I didn't even move here to 2001.
Okay.
So, but I mean, your name was still echoing in the hallways, I guess. So I was aware of you.
Yeah. Those kids were fun. They were fun.
Absolutely. You said you had some questions. Did you have any more questions about what I had announced?
Well, yeah, I'm going to go to the website because I wanted to find out if the signups were closed for the summer camp. that was starting on Monday. And the other thing too is that, go ahead.
I wanted to get Cynthia Booth on. She is the head of public information with Durham Parks and Recreation. And one thing that I had a question about, she couldn't come on today. She's going to come on next week. It starts Monday, but you have to pay before you go.
Okay.
But the press release said to start calling on Monday, even though it starts Monday. And I actually, at the last minute, I asked her if it would be okay to call today. I don't think anybody's going to kill you for calling. So I'm just going to give Durham Park and Recreation's phone number. It's 919-560-4355, I think it is.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to like have a stroke if you call them.
Okay.
But it does start, and they're going to have 2 different times. It's all explained in the article on the sports page, but they're going to have a morning session and an afternoon session.
Okay, I will look into that.
And if your grandson's 14, he'll probably, they sleep late, don't they?
Oh God, he's still asleep. I gave him an option this morning. I said, okay, so either you're going to go with me to go grocery shopping this morning, and this was like 8:00, or you're going to get all of the groceries out of the car when I get home. So he chose option B.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
And then went right back to bed. So yeah. Now the 9 to 10:30, that's at night tonight?
What? 9 to 10:30?
Black Genius trivia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's tonight. 9 to 10:30.
That is so odd.
It's late, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now we associate them with kids and learning, and this is something extra. This is a trivia contest, and so it might. I think it's in affiliation. Wait, what's that?
The Village of Wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, we associate them with with kids,
right?
Yeah, but this is something extra that they're doing. I don't know.
And I get their emails.
Yeah.
I must have missed that. I get their emails all the time. I am so impressed with that organization. I am so impressed with them. And I remember the founder and I worked on the mayor's initiative. Remember when the mayor was doing that the 7-step initiative, Mayor Bell.
Yeah.
And so Minnie asked, I can't even remember his name now, but asked him and I to serve with her on the education part.
Okay.
So I got a chance to meet him and I was extremely impressed. Young brother who has a vision and is, I mean, really just going according to the vision.
That's wonderful. Because education is the key, and it doesn't have to be stodgy. Education can be fun.
It can be.
But I loved school when I was a kid.
I did too.
But I had really good support at home. My mom was a kindergarten teacher. And so we had really good support at home. And actually, my whole family was just into education. I mean, it started, I guess, way back in the day. My grandfather lived in abject poverty in Georgia, one of 9 kids. And check this out. So they were poor, right? So they were in Augusta, Georgia. So when they got home from school, sometimes there was no food to eat, but they were still expected to do their homework. And when they were done with their homework, they drank a whole bunch of water to fill their stomachs. And sometimes that's the best they could do. Water for dinner. And my granddad grew up to be a college professor because they were taught, we got to get that education that makes all the difference in the world.
It does. It does. Yeah. But, along with that, Pat, since, now, I mean, I look at the education that I got growing up and I look at my daughter's education and now I'm looking at my grandson's education. And I do see, number one, I got a great education. I mean, I loved most of my teachers, but I loved the environment I was in. My daughter
where'd you grow up?
In Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My daughter got a good education. But the difference and the common denominator between those two educations was the parental involvement. Because my mother was a stay-at-home mom, right? I don't care if I went home complaining about I used to complain about some of the stupidest things as a kid. My mother was right up there at that school trying to figure out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't always take my side, but if she was there.
Mm-hmm.
I was the same way with my daughter. My daughter, she'd come home and say something, and I need to understand what's going on. And I think once the teachers know that the parents are behind the kids and they want what's best for them too, without accusing the teacher all the time, or not giving the child what they need in order to help them, then I think the teacher will give them something more.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly believe that.
No, that's true. I have a friend who is a teacher back home in Chicago, and he said he hated to admit this, but he said if there's a child whose parents are really demanding and in their face and in person and paying attention, they give the kid more attention and let the others kind of slide.
It's true. I see.
And I'm like, oh my God, how could you admit? But I mean, well, hate to admit that, but it's just one of those things.
That's it. You know? I mean, and I think that's what's happening now, is that you have so many parents, for whatever reason, some parents really do have to work. Some parents are just lazy. And then some parents and guardians don't have a clue. My grandson my daughter had that integrated math when she was in the 8th grade. I didn't know what that was.
I don't know what you just said. I don't know what is that?
I couldn't help her because I didn't know.
What is it?
Well, they removed it from the Durham public schools.
Because, oh, they did? Oh.
Yeah, they removed it because it was just it was too much. Oh. But, when you can't help your kid to advance.
Now that's frustrating.
Yeah. And then you don't go to the teacher because you're too embarrassed or you don't want them to know what you don't know. Then how is the teacher supposed to know that you can't help them and the child can't learn? How do you?
Exactly. There was an organization back in Chicago that helped parents help their kids, because now you can understand what I just said about my granddad, right?
Right.
The way he grew up, knowing that education was important, it benefited him. Like I said, he grew up to become a professor in college. But imagine the parents who went to school and it didn't do them much good. They're not going to promote it as heavily as my granddad did. And that's understandable. Right. If it didn't do them much good, then it's just, not a big deal.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
And that's why there's so many nonprofits that exist now to help people, give them a second chance in learning, if not only for the fact that you have kids now and you've got to help them. You can't just send them to the bedroom and say, okay, do your homework. Well, actually, I guess you can. But it is, I mean, my parents used to look over our stuff.
Oh, God, yes.
Because my dad, we give our pop the book reports.
Mm-hmm.
He was never happy with them. but he taught us so much. Check this out. So he would ask us, okay, who wrote this book? And I'd say, John Smith. Who's John Smith? Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And he said, well, how do you know where he's coming from if you don't know who he is?
Wow, that's deep.
Then he'd point out, well, who went around saying that the slaves were happy? The slave owners. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he says you have to know where someone's coming from to give thought to their words. You just don't accept whatever somebody writes just because it's on the page.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah, and so he was causing us to question authority. Sometimes we question his authority. No, we didn't. No, but to question authority, to question the status quo. You got to do that.
Right.
I mean, that's part of education, and that's part of having your kids back. To encourage them to think beyond the page, to go over their work. And if you don't really understand, some parents are embarrassed because they might, how can I put this? Sometimes the kids might know more about the subject than the parent. I mean, just think about it. My niece was learning algebra. I learned algebra in 9th grade. I think she had it in like 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah. It was.
And yet they're saying that the kids are everything's dumbed down. I don't think so. If they're learning algebra in middle school,
right.
I'm like, how is that possible?
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, school is just so important.
Yeah, I hear you.
This is so important. And there are organizations out there who will help parents who maybe they messed up the first time and school didn't do well by them, but you can always try again. My friend
True.
Gloria, who's a retired teacher, says, all you have to do is stay one step ahead of the kids.
One step ahead.
Yeah, by studying ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, just stay one step ahead of the kids. That's, as long as they don't, as long as you don't let them know that you're just learning as they are.
Right.
They don't know any better. Just if you can stay just one step ahead of them, you can help them.
I remember when my grandson was doing, I think they were doing the first phase of trigonometry in 7th grade.
Really?
And he was struggling with it. I mean, really
I struggle with that.
And so we created this rap in order to, because math is about formulas. And once you understand the formula, everything else is okay. So we came up with, I had to, because I didn't know where else to go with this. So we came up with this rap, with the square root, and talked about, the whole thing and how you come up with the answer and the formula, putting it all together. And I used to just sing it around when he was around. I used to just kind of just blurt out and sing it, right?
Did you write it down?
It's just something we know now. We just kind of, you need to make a YouTube.
No, you need to make a YouTube video.
Oh no,
help the other children.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Are you kidding? No. And if you don't, I'm going to come beat you up or something. No, you must do it.
Really?
It's going to help other kids. Yes.
Oh, I never thought about that. Okay.
Yes,
so he had his, he would do the beat. He had his, the little beat with the noise he'd make, and then I'd do the rap. And
you got to do it.
I never thought of that, but okay. So so I think when kids learn, when you can speak to them in their language, whatever that language is, then I think that they're much more receptive to understanding, because I don't think the style of teaching today, it's not a one size fits all. It's just not. And you can't, what works for me may not work for you. How you process and learn may not be how I process and learn. And, when I was a child in Ohio, now I know they did tracking, but they used to separate us by levels of whatever it was we could do. So the goal, if you were like, for example, the red birds, the bluebirds was the best group. The red birds was the next to the best group, and then the yellow birds was the low group. So
why would they stick you in a category like that? Because
it's called tracking. You don't remember that?
But you can improve though.
Well, yeah, but then the goal was for the yellow birds to move up to the red birds. That was a big goal. And then the red birds to move up to the bluebirds.
Oh, okay. I thought they were limiting you. Oh, okay.
No. You know, the idea was to advance. And then when you got to the bluebirds, then the teacher would do something like there were a few of us that went beyond the bluebirds, but you would be like in the really top where you could read to the class. I mean, but you'd have to be so proficient in reading that the teacher would allow you to do that. But everybody in the bluebirds were all the smart kids who all knew how to read, but rap.
Colleen says, yes, do it.
I may do it just because you guys are saying it. But anyway, so that's how they did it. And later on, when I was doing some research for another story some years later, I learned that that's what they were doing in the school system. They were tracking kids based on race, based on intellect, based on gender. So I didn't know any of this as a kid. How do you know? You just know that you want to you're in this group. I mean, I always wanted to be in the Bluebirds. I mean, and I was always in the Bluebirds. I never wanted to go back to the Redbirds or the Yellowbirds or whatever. You know, because you could be demoted too if your reading slacked off. She moved back.
Oh.
So, you know, you wanted to be a high achiever all the time. And
absolutely.
But it's tracking. And it's a discriminatory practice. They ruled it out, I think, back in the I believe the late 60s is when people started going up in arms about it once people got wind of what was really going on with kids. So they didn't do that in Chicago?
I'm sure they did. I was kind of clueless as a kid. I do remember. Now, I grew up in segregation, so I went to an all-black. Wait a minute. I started out in an integrated school. I went to Harvard St. George, which was an integrated elementary school for a few years. We had moved to Chatham, which from Woodlawn to Chatham. Woodlawn was an all-black area. Chatham was a white area. It changed black so fast it wasn't even funny. But it wasn't safe for us to go to the schools in Chatham. So we went to Harvard St. George for a couple of years. My sister was in middle school. I was a dinky. So I think it was safe to go to the neighborhood school, I think in 4th grade, I think it was. Something like that. But anyway, I went to an integrated high school. I went to Kenwood. And Kenwood then was kind of equally integrated in terms, I think it was like maybe 40% black, 40% white, 20% other. We had a lot of Japanese American kids, some Chinese, few Hispanic kids, and other whatever. Right. And I do remember not being aware there was a track, but I remember William Hayashi's mom fought to get him in the top tier because it wasn't customary for minority kids to be allowed in the top tier. I was unaware that there was a top tier.
That's right.
And so he was half black. So his mom really fought for him. I think he was finally accepted. And I think most of the parents, like my parents were from outside the neighborhood. I think William was Hyde Parker, an actual Hyde Parker. And I think they probably were aware of the tracking because Hyde Park was an integrated community where Chatham, my community, was all black. So I don't think that my community had tracking. We were all black.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they did it. How do you know, though?
I don't know. I mean, we were all just in there.
Well, you know, when I was from 1st grade to 2nd grade, like I remember when we all moved to 2nd grade, all of the kids that I thought were the smart kids, you know, the really smart kids, were all in one class, and I got put in another class. And I was so upset about that because I felt like I was with my friends, and the kids that were in the class that I was in, I thought those kids were like dumb kids, and I didn't understand why I was in the class with them. So really, I mean, this is a true story. So I ran home crying to my mother. And my mother walked me right back up to school because it was a neighborhood school. My mother walked me right back up to the school, talked to the principal, Mr. Lutz. I'll never forget it. I mean, I remember my mother was yelling at him and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, by that afternoon, I was in Miss Malone's class. And the thing of it now in hindsight, the only black person, and I think, you know, colorism had something to do with that too, because the only black person in that 2nd grade was a very fair-skinned girl named Victoria. And Victoria and I are still friends today. She was the only one. And I don't know, you know, I mean, do I want to waste time now thinking about?
I know. It is what it was, I suppose.
But you know, those are all the things that if you're not conscious of it, you don't know it, and a parent doesn't know what's going on, you get labeled early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my teacher turned the jump rope while saying, yes.
Isn't that wild? What Colleen
Yes.
just put up? So
Yes. Yes.
turn the jump rope while saying the times table, and you moved on when all of them learned the times table.
Yes, I love that.
I like that.
Yeah.
And now I know Colleen, like myself, lived in Chicago. I don't know if she's from Chicago. I don't know if this happened in Chicago or if she moved to Chicago later. But I'm curious as to whether that happened in Chicago.
That's
really clever.
That is so, see, that's creative. Not
like that
only
a
do you
lot.
get exercise, physical activity,
Mhm.
kids are doing something they enjoy,
Mhm.
and you're learning in the process.
But I also like the fact that all of the kids.
Yeah, all of the kids. Yeah.
I like that. not just Miss Smarty Pants and Mr. Privileged over here, but everybody. I like that. I like that a lot.
I love that idea. And see, that's what's missing today.
Is it a lack of just not wanting to stick out? Is it a lack? It can't be laziness on the teacher's part because they're doing so much. Oh, Michigan. Okay. Teachers are doing so much. I mean, they're buying supplies for the low-income kids, and they're dealing with
buying supplies have to do with
domestic. No, I mean, there's so much on their plate. They're dealing with domestic issues with the children, and they're doing so much more than just going to the front of the class and giving a lecture.
Yes, so, I don't know, but
I don't know.
In my grandson's private school, right? Because I told you he was in private school.
Ooh, okay.
He was struggling in math. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's really, trust me, it's not. He was struggling in math.
Mm-hmm.
His tutor at the school, he had the kids that struggle, they get tutors. Figured out what he liked. She knew he liked basketball, so what she would do was during the tutoring session, she would take him to the gym, work out, put a problem before him. If he got the right answer, he got 5 minutes of hoops time.
Well, like that. Well, shoot. Huh? That makes perfectly good sense.
Yeah, and you know what? He got more answers right because he knew he got that little 5 minutes of hoop time where you could just slam dunk and do whatever.
That would be interesting to put that on an IEP. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I think whatever the kid, if you can tap
whatever the child needs,
likes, yes. Mm-hmm. Well, if you can tap into what they like another student loves art. Mm-hmm. So he was struggling in math. Mm-hmm. Teacher, when he got the answers right, teacher let him do some kind of, I don't know, something on the computer that he was really interested in. And she let him spend 5 minutes continuing to create this masterpiece on the computer.
Nice.
So that's,
nice.
That's how you get kids engaged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
I like that a lot.
But can they do that in public school? See, I don't think they can.
I honestly don't know. I guess it depends on the class size and whether there's a teacher's aide to pick up the slack once you give the other child a little more attention. Yeah. I don't even know if teachers' aides go beyond primary grades. Probably not.
I don't know either.
I don't think so. It would be a good idea. I mean, they can barely afford the teachers. And now the parents are finally realizing that teachers should be paid more. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Of course. As soon as the pandemic hit, parents.
How do you do it? My kid's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. So, I mean, yeah. Okay, well, this has been great.
This has been really fun. One more question, since your grandson, he's 13 going on 14, right?
Yes.
Is he excited about going back to school, or is he? I'm just curious. Are the kids actually worried about coronavirus, or he and his friends?
Well, okay, so yes and no. My grandson's a very social kid, so the online learning he has struggled with, and part of the reason is because those teachers. The online learning was difficult for them too.
Okay.
So they both had this, the students and the teachers have tried to figure it out in the last month or two that they were doing online.
Mm-hmm.
I know he would prefer to be back in the classroom with kids because he is a social person. But, you know, once again, the virus thing is, she had one parent say, I didn't sign up for this.
Sign up for it. That's not why I had children.
I hear you, Sheila. That is so true. But see, I think, you know, his situation is different because his classroom sizes are so small. You know, I went to one of his open houses for grandparents, and there were like 8 or 9 kids in a class.
That's
and they don't have, I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it's so different. And when he was at Shepherd, you know, he had 30 kids in a classroom, and then you got behavior issues, and you got all this stuff going on, and the teacher's trying to control this and teach. Whereas in that environment, everybody's kind of laid back. You know, each
kid is within reach.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they don't hit the children. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, but you know, I mean,
but it's very manageable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's extremely manageable.
Wow.
So we'll see. And plus, I got all that land. They have so much land out there that they could literally conduct classes outside.
Ooh, that seems
I mean, that's how much land
they needed to.
Yeah. So
one thing I would like to see, I do like to watch Disney Channel and Nickelodeon still. Excuse me, but
do you?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of weird. I like either hardcore serious news, court TV, you know, dead serious, and then I like Disney Channel.
Okay.
Hardly anything. I don't like the popular sitcoms and stuff. No, I don't want to watch this. It's either got to be dead serious or just totally fun.
Okay.
But I would like to see in between classes, because I know the kids are going to be sitting there like this in front of their computers. Oh my God, I can't imagine that. And I would like to see, like, in between shows, they have like music videos and fun things and like quizzes and music and just like, you know, fun stuff.
That would be great.
And I don't think they've thought of that yet. But I would like to see that developed where in between or maybe at the top of the hour, there can be like a stretch and marching to music or something fun or a quiz or since it's going to be localized, since we're talking about local schools here in Durham, then, you know, they could win prizes. Because I'm sure the businesses would not mind giving away trinkets, toys, or whatever, free tickets to this and that to kids every now and then. Why not? Because it's promotion.
Why don't you present it to the board? Go to a meeting, present it.
Oh.
It's that easy, probably.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, seriously, that's why not? You know what I do miss, and I think that this is, do you remember Schoolhouse Rock when we were kids?
Yes. Oh, yeah, all that.
Why can't they do a 21st century version of that with rap? I mean, because all the things that we learned, English, the conjunctions and math, and all of that.
What was that? Conjunction function. What's your function?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
But you know what? I'm still waiting because when rap first came out, I'm talking about way back when I was in New York in the 70s.
Okay.
They claimed, I can't tell you who they were, but they claimed that rap was going to take over the educational system. The kids in the inner cities were going to be learning math and science with rap, and there's going to be all this curriculum with rap. And I'm still waiting since the 70s for this to happen. It hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't. But you know, Ron Clark had a great model in Atlanta.
Schoolhouse New Rock, yeah.
Yeah, he had a great model, and it was a success for him, but he just didn't gravitate or catch on with other teachers around, you know, because school boards, most school boards are so rigid, and I don't know. Maybe they need to loosen up. Maybe they just need I don't know. They need new life. They need
maybe they do hinder creativity, like what we were like I was asking before. I know it's not the laziness of the teachers. It could be that the school boards are not as receptive to crazy ideas,
right.
you know, because they're serving so many kids. They just want to get them through the curriculum, I'm sure.
And I don't think
intact.
Right. And I don't think you can have in a predominantly Black school district, I don't think you can have a predominantly white school board, and especially a white school board where members have their children going to private school. How can you do that? Because then you really don't know what's going on
Exactly.
in the system.
Exactly.
You can't identify, with what Black kids are going through, what, because when you wake up in the morning with your child and they have breakfast, they do this, you sing a song, you kiss goodbye, and you go on your merry way. That's not the experience of every Black child. And you don't know that.
Or white child even.
Well, yeah. I mean, some white children don't have it that good either. So, I don't know. I think that the boards of educations around the country are more elitist. That's why, the conversation you and I had, they need more Jackies on the school board.
Yeah.
To keep it real, to help the others understand what's really happening and how best to serve the kids.
Exactly. I guess it's something that deserves some work, and I'd like to talk about that later. Not during Bull City Hangout, maybe, but I would definitely like to talk about that later, because I've always been a gigantic fan of the schools, the libraries, and the park districts, because my mom was a teacher, her dad was a teacher, my aunt was a teacher. I mean, I'm just surrounded by teachers on both sides. My grandmother worked in the school system. She worked with physical education, that sort of thing. I just think that it's so important to serve the kids to the utmost, and not just to me, you don't have a true good city if you don't serve the poorest or the low income-ist people to the best of your ability.
I agree.
I'm not saying that you can just let the rich people hang. I'm just saying that if you serve everyone well, with no animosity, no jealousy, no saying who deserves what, then you've got a good city.
I agree.
Seriously. So, Colleen has something to say. Some kids need hands-on activities, learn to measure things, make calendars. She said they had to make a calendar every month and use the ruler and decorate it. Doing activities related to mental activities. I agree. I met this lady. There's this school that started in Germany. I can't think of what it's called, but they make paper. They make their own paper. And what is the name of that school? They're out in like Chapel Hill or something. And they make paper. They don't bother with computers or tests. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So when they get to high school with, the other kids, how do they fare if they're not taking these tests? And
that work, right?
And she says they do just fine.
Wow.
But it's like old school. She says it's all like hands-on. It's the arts. Of course they learn the sciences and math as well, but she says it's all like, it sounds like a super duper flowery Montessori.
Okay.
But she says it works beautifully, and the kids do quite well once they go to, high school and college, even though they don't use computers in class or, the regular testing that they do in the public schools. So like Colleen is saying, there's so many different ways to reach kids. Now you're a mom and a grandma. I'm going to ask you a crazy question. How can a parent best figure out how their child learns? Because I'm sure they know their child better than anyone else. How can a parent judge the best way to reach a child in terms of their learning style?
You're asking me?
Yes, I'm asking. I'm putting you on the line.
That's a really good question, because I tried a lot of different things with my own daughter, trying to figure out what her strong suits were,
Mm-hmm.
what her skill set was. But I will say this, and I don't know if I'm probably not the best qualified for it, but I'll tell you this much. I unintentionally, or maybe intentionally, swayed my daughter towards the way that I saw academics. I have a degree in journalism, so I'm always about the communication. I mean, that is like, you gotta know how to communicate. So everything when homework time came, my primary focus with her was on English, because I didn't know math and I wasn't going to try to pretend I did. History I thought was boring, which she also thinks is boring too. So everything I did was focused on English. So she went on to college and got a degree in PR because she thought she wanted to do something with communication, right? Marketing. Well, she's not doing it, of course, but that's beside the point. So I think that what tends to happen if your parent is college educated, or then I think you tend to intentionally or unintentionally push them in the direction that you went. That's just me. I'm doing the same thing with my grandson. I mean, I'm like, on him about his writing consistently. I mean, to the point that I know it just gets on his nerves. But I mean, I keep telling him communication is the key. We are judged by the way we speak, the way we look, the way we act, and the way that we write. Those are the four things we are always going to be judged by in this life. So if you don't have that together as a part of your communication platform, you have nothing. So that's just me. Now, my husband has an engineering degree. He has a strong math background.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, but I can't relate to that. So, but he can relate to the grandson.
Nice.
And they can do activities, figuring out square inches and all these other things that to me just I can't relate to. So I don't know if I'm the best person to ask that question.
Well, I guess it's a good thing for parents and grandparents to think about how my child best learns, so they could best advocate for their kids.
But do we really take I guess the question is, I don't know if I even took the time to really identify, because I think I was so enamored in getting her the English language proficiency, because that's who I was. So I don't know. I think that's something that we might miss as parents.
Something to think about over the weekend.
It is. Well, yeah. It is. After I get through with this panel discussion, it's something to think about. So I'll put that on the agenda.
Okay. Did you want to mention your panel discussions? I know you do have this series.
Yeah, just that, we're doing a series of conversations about racism in America. You're going to be on the panel, an upcoming panel, along with people from across the country. People randomly selected, who I know either virtually or in person. And we're going to come together and talk about it. And just, somebody asked me, well, what's the purpose of this? The purpose is just so that we at least can begin to have dialogue. Because until you start talking to people about issues, you're just going to make assumptions, and assumptions are not good, because assumptions, I just had a situation on Facebook, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but a friend of mine, a Black friend of mine, took something totally out of context that a white friend of mine wrote. And I was like, how did she see that when this white lady was really supporting what I said? But she took the defensive. So until we actually have dialogue, we are always going to misinterpret. And that's why we can't get further along.
And sometimes we use the same words, but we have different meanings without realizing it.
Exactly.
And that's just the way we're brought up. You know, we're speaking the same language, but we don't necessarily mean the same things.
Right.
And that doesn't come, you never realize that until you talk to other folks.
You have to talk to them. That's
and realize, oh, well, no wonder this and that. You know.
Right. That's right. That no wonder you thought that, because, exactly. So that's the point.
And cool. So I guess people can follow you, Beverly Mahone.
Yeah.
If they're curious.
If you want to.
Curious. Yeah.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram.
Oh, one last question. Your writing, are you still doing your writing workshops?
No, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I stopped back in, I stopped in September of last year. I had some health issues, and so I kind of put everything on the back burner. And I said I was going to start it back up at the beginning of the year, and then the pandemic hit. And I'm just debating how to bring it back, in a virtual format. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I was suggesting to you, I'm just going to say this for others who might be flirting with the idea of having some kind of a workshop online. So like some music teachers, they have the student pay via PayPal. And once the payment goes through, and they take them to a platform like StreamYard, which you can broadcast over to YouTube, for example. So maybe the mom will say, you're sending it to YouTube? I don't want my child. But you can make the YouTube video private or unlisted. And so you're recording it so that the student can access it later and practice along, with the piano teacher or whatever. You could do this. You could do the same with writing, because that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're taking the students to platforms like StreamYard, which is where we are now, and they're doing great. They're doing, I don't know if your workshops are free or not, but again, you could have them pay via PayPal or what's the other at the young folks, Venmo and
Cash App.
These kids with their rock and roll and their Cash App and their Venmo, whatever.
Well, Pat, I do have a YouTube channel that is like open to anyone, where I do words from my kitchen table, where I every day to help people build their vocabulary bank. So that when you are, especially for college students, when you're writing, I talk about scholarly writing, how to write a good introduction, what makes a good essay. And I've been promoting that on Twitter to the HBCU students quite a bit.
Excellent.
Just so that they know, that it's out there. And, if I get even one comment back from a college student, I think that I've just been a major success, because they don't really respond that way. They don't, because I'm older too, I guess they're like, okay, I'm not going to listen, or I'll listen and I get the information and that's it. But I did have one student send me a message on my YouTube page, and she said, thank you for this information. It was so awesome. And I was just talking about how to write a good essay. So
excellent.
Yeah, I've done that, and I've had that now for probably a year or two. Yeah. So.
Well, just imagine, just one more thing about StreamYard. There are other platforms as well, because I do know that with Messenger, I think it is, you can have like 100 people meeting. But with StreamYard, which is what I'm familiar with, you can have up to 10 people. So it'll look like the Brady Bunch or Hollywood Squares, like little faces. But yeah. And then you can do this, like if you're, the teacher is speaking, so you can take over the screen and.
Okay. And then, okay.
And you can also screen share.
Okay.
And you can make the like if you're showing an example of a good looking article or whatever, you can screen share it and make it big, just like I did with myself. You could focus in
Okay.
on it, or you could make it big and then have the little faces on the side.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just doing Zoom now, and I'm still trying to figure Zoom out. I may need to
Hmm.
hit Eileen up so she can give me some pointers
I
on
don't know if she knows about Zoom, but she probably does.
how to make the best Zoom
She probably
call.
does. Hmm. But if you have any questions about StreamYard, I'd be happy to help with
I
that.
will. I
And
definitely will do that. How much
I
is it
think
per month? Do you know?
um, I signed up for they have a first tier and a second tier. The first tier is the cheaper one. It is, oh shoot, I think it's a couple hundred a year,
Okay.
which is not much considering what you get.
Right.
Because again, you can broadcast to two different platforms at the same time.
Okay.
This is broadcasting obviously to YouTube, which is awesome. You can
Mm-hmm.
also broadcast over the Periscope. Now, the higher tier, which might be something like 300 or 400 or even more, I don't know. I didn't even look into that. But you can
Uh-huh.
broadcast over to 5
Oh, yeah,
platforms.
do all that, but
But yeah,
okay.
Facebook and YouTube's enough for me.
Yeah.
But a couple
Okay.
$100 is a really good investment because also the two founders of StreamYard have a town hall meeting every Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern. And they
Yeah.
field questions and tell you about the latest updates.
Okay.
And of course, they have a page. They have a StreamYard community Facebook page where you can ask questions and get help and stuff like that, and show off also.
Okay. I
So,
will look into that. Like I said, Zoom you pay too, but um I'm not sure if I haven't decided yet if I want to, immediately come out with live. I mean, because the first call, I wasn't even sure how well or how that was going to go at all. So
mm-hmm,
I just said, well, okay, well, we'll just make it private. So,
mm-hmm,
that way I can decide whether or not this is something that we really want to put out there. Because as I said, there were some revealing things and some people are a little conscious of, oh, okay, you've
mm-hmm.
used it. Did you
It's
like it?
fun.
Did you like it, Sheila?
Yeah, let us know because it's super. I just love this so much.
And so when you go live here, you're live on Facebook and
Facebook and YouTube.
YouTube
The
at the
Patricia
same
A. Murray YouTube channel. Mm-hmm.
time. Okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
people can, okay, huh. Well, let me look. You know what? When we get off this call, I'm going to go look into that. Because like I said, I've already paid for Zoom, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll look into it. I can always cancel too. So we'll
Yeah.
take a look.
Actually, you can try it out for free.
Okay.
You can actually do some shows for free. I think you're limited. I think it's not. It won't be recorded, which means
Okay.
you won't be able to refer to it. But you can
Right.
try it out. You can say to a friend or to me or whatever, let's try out StreamYard. I want to try it for free and see how it works on my computer or whatever.
Okay.
It's as simple as going to StreamYard.com
Okay.
and then start a broadcast or start what does it say? Create a show or create a broadcast. Anyway,
Okay.
you can just
I will do
explore
that.
it and have fun. Yeah, no strings
Perfect.
attached.
Okay.
And Sheila says it worked well.
It worked well. Good.
Mm,
Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
awesome.
Appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me, Beverly. Your first time,
I
drop
know.
by anytime if you
I
want to
will.
promote your panel discussions, your writing workshops. Just keep us apprised of what's happening.
I definitely will do
Because I
that.
get a lot of great information from you. 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗟 is super. Oh boy, is she good at sharing information with me. Chris, who else shares information with? Oh, just so many people. And
Okay.
I really appreciate it because I'm just one
Excellent.
person. When it comes to putting together the Durham Skywriter, I'm just one person, and I do love it when people share info. Because sometimes
Okay.
you hear about stuff that I don't hear about.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just like the one about the testing at Horton. So
And yeah,
yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So
Okay, I will do that.
thanks
Thank
again,
you so
Beverly.
much.
Enjoy
You
your
take,
weekend.
You do the same. Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. Super fun. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. If anybody wants to join me at the last second, the link is on the Facebook page, on the Durham Skywriter page. And I noticed there are some people on YouTube. So if you'd like to join me, I'll just do a quick little countdown, and then I will go on about my business. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3/4, 1/2, 1/4. Well, you have a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, with it being Saturday, that means I'll be on a little earlier, so that will be 10 a.m. Eastern. With that, you have a beautiful day. See you tomorrow. Ciao for now.